Hey, Nikki here. And in this video, I'm going to show you different ways to use the kettlebell's bottoms up position, which is really helpful for developing grip strength, shoulder strength and stability, and can also be really good for sort of mitigating or reducing a lot of the hand, wrist, and shoulder discomfort that we tend to get when those areas are a little bit weak and or unstable. I do put out pretty regular content around injury prevention, strength for hypermobility and pain, and some progressive Pilates and prep work to kind of build up to that stuff. So if that sounds like the types of topics that you are interested in or would find helpful, please make sure you take a moment to subscribe to my channel. Okay, let's get into it. So first thing is weight selection always comes up. I cannot tell you exactly what weight you need because it is relative to you. Personally, I will either bottoms up with what I have today, which is a 6 kilogram weight, or sometimes if I'm feeling really strong, maybe an 8 kilogram weight, which is roughly between 12 and I want to say about 16 pounds. There's a little bit of math in that, right? So the way that you know that you have the right weight for the bottoms up is when you take your hand like this and you hold the kettlebell bottoms up, upside down, right? You should feel like, oh yeah, I have to squeeze my whole hand. My shoulder is lighting up. And then the other thing is I can't do this here, but you shouldn't be able to move your wrist back and forth. If you can, that means your weight is too light. The other thing is if your weight is too heavy, it will feel like it's going to go bang. And that will hurt because kettlebells are made of lead. So you want it light enough that you can control it and it doesn't whack you, but you want it not so light that your wrist can do this. Yes? So let's talk about just getting into this basic position. First thing is just the act of holding the kettlebell in the bottoms up position will strengthen everything from your hand and grip all the way to your shoulder. And it will actually make things like overhead pressing, push-ups, all sorts of exercises so much easier. So to get into it, you basically can spot it up where you bring it up like so. You're going to have your arm here in the racked position. It looks like this. You want decent posture, so you're not leaning backwards or forwards. You just feel stacked. And then you're gripping with your whole hand. And then if you just float your hand here, you see how you do. And maybe the act of holding it for anywhere to up to 30 seconds, you might be following along right now, is enough. If this feels really hard and you're like, I'm concentrating really hard, maybe that's all you do at first. 10 to 30 second hold on one side, and then you would do a 10 to 30 second hold on the other side. If you were following along with me, maybe just take a moment, bring your feet about hip width apart, let your arms drape down. And I do want you to notice if the side that you've done feels kind of warm and long and relaxed, and if the side you haven't done feels kind of like shrunk up. Always kind of an interesting phenomenon. Make sure you do the other side so you don't walk in a circle. But let me show you some other ways to play with this bottoms up position. So the next option you have is you can go bottoms up, and then you can always have your hand on a wall or a chair. You can also march. And then other things that you can do is you can walk around. You can also spot your kettlebell. This is good if you don't like standing still for 30 seconds, right? So those are ways to just hold that position. The next option for bottoms up is overhead pressing. You can do the standard overhead press bottoms up standing, but let me show you a couple other variations you may not have thought of that are kind of neat. So kneeling here is a nice one because it takes out the lower leg, helps you really find that glute and core stability. Or I sometimes like a half kneel because now I can really think about engaging my glutes, finding that hip stability and balance. And then it's the same thing. You find your bottoms up position, and then you can do your overhead presses here. So that's a really nice one. Another choice is you can take a seat on the floor if you have the mobility. This is a way to build in some of that core strength and mobility. Find your upright seated position in a straddle. And again, you can do your bottoms up press from here. I don't know about you, that one always fires up my core quite a lot. So that's kind of a nice novel way to do it. Now, if you know the Turkish get up, I'm not going to demo this today. You can do the bottoms up position with the Turkish get up, The last one I am going to show you for today is the floor press. So floor presses are great if push-ups feel icky on your wrists and you want to strengthen your pecs and your pushing muscles, or if when you go into your overhead press, it again feels really ouchy on your shoulder and you don't feel like you can get your arm overhead yet. The floor press is a nice alternative to that. So the way that you do that for your bottoms up is you will roll onto your side. The other hand will have to help. You will set up your elbow a little bit out to the side. So it's not way out here. It's not super close. It's just out on a slight diagonal, maybe 45 degrees. Again, option A, make sure that you have control of that kettlebell. That other hand can spot, and then you can press it up and lower it down. Or if you feel comfortable, you no longer need a spot, you can do it that way. So those are all different ways of sneaking in a little bit of extra shoulder stability and grip and wrist strength work into the workout that you're already doing. I hope you found that helpful. If you did, please give it a like. Let me know in the comments. And then also, if you have requests for other videos, please let me know, because your requests tend to be what drives the content that I create later. So thank you for being here, and I'll catch you in another video.